Oh, right, we live? All right, let's get this party started. But first, we're gonna make sure we turn on the monetization to get that sweet, sweet YouTube money. Yeah. Let's see here. All right. So let's bear with just a second, my friends. Hey, retired 2019. Right on. What's up, Dawn? How are you all? Que paso? Let me Don Juan's in the house. Carol, right on. Monica, right on. Where y'all writing in from? Monica, Don Juan, Carol, you in New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Retired 2019, don't know. And Don, where y'all writing in from? New York, Carl, right on. Que paso? Chesapeake, all right, Chesapeake, Virginia, right on. Texas, Michigan, all right, Carol. Denise from Iowa, all right. All right. I'm a talking pumpkin. You all know where that's from? Talking pumpkin. All right. I'm a talking pumpkin. I am still holding my Exxon. Don's from Florida, right on. Yeah, I wasn't in Columbia, Missouri. I drove around there. I went to Kidder, Missouri, for a Mittlider gardening boot camp, which was just fantastic. Waltham, Massachusetts, right on. Ted's scale modeling. What is a scale modeling? And it was. Hold on, there we go. I'll be right back. Hold on just a second. New Jersey, all right. All right, so here's the first Mittlider gardening course book. It's incredible. This is incredible. And here's the book on plants, Food for Everyone. If you're interested and if you're not, I frankly don't understand if you're not, but it's nuts how much stuff is in here. So we use natural fertilizers. Not organic, because organic is a big government money grab. USDA seals your approval to say you're organic, and the whole thing is just silly, man. Silly. So you're throwing a bunch of compost, you're hoping manure, your compost, you're just hoping it works, but you don't know what you have in the soil, and as such, it's just a wing and a prayer. And the whole point about gardening is to build food that you can live on. That's why it's nuts to me. All these people, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, so if I can grow my own food and use natural fertilizers, even if it's not called organic because the USDA didn't give it seal of approval, and I get a bulk of food that I can live and I can share or barter, whatever I want, somehow that's not as good for the environment as opposed to you going up to Costco or going to Walmart and getting food shipped from many parts of the U.S. And how is it shipped? Well, it's not shipped in balloons. It's shipped in diesel trucks, which spew that evil CO2. How dare you? How dare you? And if you want to be organic, I don't care. I literally could care less. I just find the organic and the vegans are one of the same. I'm organic. And it's just like there's now, because people are getting so pissed off this organic thing. It's just such a big. It's like, oh. It's like, I'm organic, I'm Black Lives Matter, I'm whatever is, I'm he, him, now. It's just all the same thing, man. And so then there's beyond organic, because people are saying, look, organic is just a big sales pitch. It's literally just nothing more than a big sales pitch. And so now we go to regenerative, because organic has just been corrupted, just like the term liberal has been corrupted. Anarchist has been corrupted. Organic has been corrupted. It just is. I see organic as it's just a money grab by big corporations without question. And so at least regenerative is more aligned in my way of thinking, that we want to not just use organic, we want to actually regenerate the soil. The nice thing about the Mittleider gardening method is all natural fertilizer, all natural. Because your plant doesn't care if the nitrogen comes from a bag or if it comes from, you peeing on it. The plant just wants the nitrogen. And the whole reason you're growing is to eat. That's it. To grow, to eat. Yeah. Anyway, it's great. And so one of the things about the Mittleider is you can, on top of that, and this is one of the another thing about organic and whatnot, is that you actually can grow a whole lot more in a limited space. And I mean, the reason for vertical growing of vining, not just tomatoes, but even obviously peas, tomatoes, but even peppers, watermelon, squash, vining cucumbers, these kind of things you can vine and grow up as opposed to sideways. And so when you're growing up, you're using more or less space, or you're using more space for more plant growth. Like I have a small little garden. I can't grow pumpkins because they have to spread out so much. I can't grow squash, can't really grow cucumbers until, I figured out I could grow up as opposed to outward. And if you grow up, you can grow a whole lot more in a small limited space, if that makes sense. And that's what makes it so, in my opinion, so great, because you're sitting there thinking, if I can go up towards the sun and prune accordingly, because you got to prune, man. You don't want bushes. You want one stem growing up. You can have a lot more growth without leaves and a lot more vegetables and fruits. And it's I'm telling you, man, if the whole point about us feeding human beings, which it should be, then how do we get food into people's bellies? Well, it's not by using compost and hoping that it works. And trust me, man, I was talking to my mom on the way out there because it's her birthday. And, she was the first compost farmer there were. I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, no one was doing compost, that no one was doing it. And we had a decent garden, but it wasn't for the size of the plot of land we have in Peaks Island and the number of food we got. It was good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we did eat, but it could have been so much more, because the plants were getting the right nutrients, and we composted. We had chickens pooping on the stuff. We had all that stuff. We are organic for us cool, and I take great pride in that. However, there's a better way. It's the Mittleider gardening method. All right, so what happened in West Bengal elections, Bob? Did the good guys win? All right, so let's see if we got any questions here. So I'm wide open. Whatever y'all want to talk about, man, I'm just going to go through them. Yeah, Missouri's fantastic. I tell you, I'm a big fan first time. Missouri, I've been through St. Louis one time just to see that little thing when I was driving. I forgot where I was driving, but we went through, and Missouri is fantastic. I love Missouri without question. Big fan. So I'm gonna be looking deep. I'm not moving there. Just FYI, I'm an East Coast guy, but I'll be diving more deeply into Missouri for people who want a place to retire, who are right wing crazy people like us. You know what I'm saying? Who say, basically want to be left alone. It was fantastic. I mean, the people up there carrying firearms to their side, not wearing masks, just literally, it was even people smoking cigarettes, not in the gardening boot camp I went, but just around, even people smoking cigarettes. You shouldn't smoke, but it's just nice to see people smoking cigarettes, not like, oh my goodness, people are going to think I'm a crazy man. I enjoyed it greatly. Some wonderful people I met, and that part of Missouri is just fantastic, and meeting some people. And they came from all over too, by the way. And it was great. It was fantastic. So big fan of Missouri. Is definitely on the list of places to retire for sure. I went through Jasper, Indiana, which I enjoyed a lot. It's raining now, so it didn't give me the same kind of feeling that Missouri did because it's sunny in Missouri. But it's cold, man. It's cold. I am still holding my Exxon stock. Yep. All right. Here we got James is from another Missouri. Right on, man. We got my man Carl from Hoover, Alabama. Yeah, right on. He's going to retire in 3 years. All right. We got Mac Attack from the great state of New Jersey. Carol is retiring at the end of this year from I forgot where she said she's coming from. Michigan, and she's gonna move to Florida. Loveland, Ohio. How about looked at SWN? It's a natural gas company. I'm buying shares. I think natural gas will go up for the future. I have not looked at it. Actually, I want to. A couple of y'all have sent me this. I want to. We got a couple of things to go. Yeah, okay. All right. I want to. This was kind of funny. One sec. There's a couple of y'all had sent me this, or maybe one of y'all did. I can't remember. Let's take a gander. This was pretty funny. Share screen. Go here. So apparently, this was Hometown International H-Win. Apparently, there's an article about this in CNBC with some hedge fund managers talking about it only had $35,000 of sales, but it's trading at like the market cap was 123 billion or something like that. And so when the article came out, it fell like a brick in water. It went from 1390 all the way down to 11. No, 9. So literally, here's when the article came out, 1390, and fell all the way down to 925, and now it's back up. No PE ratio. No, I mean, just why would the average volume is 357 shares a day? In the last couple of days, it's traded in the tens of thousands. Just look at that. There's no volume down here. And then kaboom. What is? It cracks me up. I don't understand. It's H-Win. Don't buy. Look, do whatever you want. I'm not buying it. I'll tell you that right now. If you got no earnings, I'm not buying it. But by the way, for this company, I have to assume this is on. It's not definitely on New York Stock Exchange, because New York Stock Exchange stocks generally are 3 letters, and this is HWIN. It's on other over the counter. So remember, NASDAQ, if memory serves, when I was taking my Series 7 in 1998 or 1999, NASDAQ used to be over the counter. I can't remember, but NASDAQ, like AMZ, and Amazon's trade on. Does Amazon trade on NASDAQ still, or is that now on? It's got to be NASDAQ, right? Yeah, NASDAQ. Amazon's on NASDAQ because it's got 4 tickers. 4 tickers. 4 letters in its ticker, by the way. If you look at Yum, which I can't remember, I just remember Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think. Yum Brands, New York Stock Exchange, because 3 letters, if that makes sense. All right, so Yum is on New York Stock Exchange, 3 letters. Amazon is on NASDAQ, because 4 letters. Then you go like Southern Company, I think, which is Southern, the Southern Company, New York Stock Exchange. And then we'll go to, I don't know, APPL. I'm sure that's NASDAQ. No. Let's see. Apple is on NASDAQ, AAPL. So anyway, just for your interest, if it's a mutual fund, it's not trading on it doesn't trade. It's an open-ended mutual fund. You buy the shares directly through the company. If it's an ETF, it'll trade on exchange. It'll do VPI. I have no idea. It's probably, I don't know what ETF. New York Stock Exchange, VTI, New York Stock Exchange. Anyway, all right, cool. So let's stop that. All right, there we go. All right, cool. Can I explain organic versus non-GMO? All right, so GMOs are basically the genetically modified organisms, corn and soybean by and large, and I think starting to be some potatoes if memory serves. Organic, just basically they're using natural fertilizers, compost. What else they use? They use compost. They just use nothing synthetic, nothing that man generated. Nitrogen is natural. So using a bag of nitrogen or 13-13-13 or something like that is still naturally produced products for fertilizer. All right. So what Mittleider did, he said, look, there's plants that have a specific nutrient need, and just using NPK, for instance, is missing a good amount of the nutrient need. We got to use other things for that, calcium, manganese, things of that nature. And those are going to be farmed and put in bags, which makes it synthetic, which inherently is violating the organic, but they're still natural. So non-GMO is like heirloom and things of this nature. I mean, you can get a lot of products that are not GMO, but the big ones are corn, because the monoculturalists, they love the idea of just this huge field of corn because they're using it for feed, right? For cows, moo. And they're using it obviously for ethanol, and they're shipping it overseas and whatnot. But a lot of the corn they produce isn't even for human consumption. And as such, they want to use it to fatten up cows, which is why if you can buy grass-fed cows, you should. I'm just telling you, man, grass-fed cows are the way to go. They're more expensive. There's no other way around that. But it's just this. What they're doing is they're loading up the cows in the last couple of weeks of their existence to fatten up so they can turn around and slaughter them and sell them. I don't like it. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like this whole stuff on animal, basically testing, all that stuff. I don't like it at all. And that's essentially what we're doing with the animal factories. And look, I'm just a big hypocrite as anyone else. I eat it, and I eat it sometimes based on price. And it really bothers me because I'm like, man, I know these cows aren't treated well. I know that. And then it bothers me. I'm not going to lie to you. I know they get fattened up by corn and as such, and grain. And as such, I know that's not healthy for the cow, and it's not healthy for us as we consume it. Just not. But the point about that GMO, it makes it so genetically modified means that you can spray pesticides on it. It doesn't hurt the plant. It doesn't. So they have this huge fields of plants that are being used from one plant and one plant only. That's not good. That's bad. It's a monocultural environment, which isn't good. Nature is very keen on diverse. It doesn't like monocultural. It likes a lot of different things, a lot of different organisms, lots of different bacteria and things like that. And it's just having one field of one crop, not good. And so they're spraying these pesticides on it, and the GMOs allows it to stay safe. And I don't have any qualm that GMO in itself that doesn't bother me. That in of itself is not the argument I find attractive. I find the argument which is attractive is what happens to the soil for other plants that could grow there. Because the soil is being inundated with these chemicals, these pesticides, and other things to get rid of pests. What happens to the soil? It's not hurting the plant, I grant you, but is it hurting the soil? We don't know. And what happens? We just don't know. I mean, can other things grow there? Is it getting enough diverse bacteria? I don't know the answer to that. And but it just seems like that might not be good, especially when the whole point about the corn is to get it so we're feeding ethanol, which is insanity. I mean, it's literally insane the amount of energy it takes to create ethanol to lower the emissions in vehicles on their gas. It's freaking nuts, man. It's insane. And then on top of that, we're using it to feed cows, moo, so we can fatten up a couple of weeks before we slaughter them, so we can bring them to the freaking sell them retail. The whole thing's nuts. And then soybeans, of course, are just straight up evil. If you're a soy farmer, I'm sorry. Look, man, I was raised on tofu. Freaking hate that crap. Soybeans go back to Atlas Shrugged, by the way. They were very keen on mass manufacturing soybeans, Atlas Shrugged, and it's still the same thing today. I don't get the whole appeal of soybeans. It's weird to me, but anyway. So let's keep going. Organic tubers are composted with heavy metal content. Get your one-way ticket to midnight. Hollering. Heavy metal time and time being just right. Hollering. All right, so I'm sick, California. Too many socialist pigs here that think like lemmings. Where in the conservative South should I move to? Well, I tell you, man, I think a lot of people misunderstand the people fleeing California as bringing their liberal politics. I don't think is that at all. Now, if they move because their company moved, i.e., like I always use Alliance Bernstein fleeing New York City to Nashville, Tennessee. If they move because the company moved, they probably are bringing the liberal politics. But if old Dave here just moves on his own accord, he's not bringing his liberal politics, man. He's not. So I think it's Dave, whatever. So you draw this triangle. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is, I tell you, man, I do look, as much as I hate Google, I love Google Maps. I could look at Google Maps all day long. And I pretty much do, by the way. So I usually don't go to Google except for Google Maps. because I love Google Maps. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let me get rid of hollering heavy metal, time and time, feeling just right. Hollering heavy metal. Remember that song? That was when Sammy Hagar was somewhat good. Sammy Hagar. After that, horrible. Van Halen with Sammy Hagar, horrible. Oh, put my head in a vice. Oh, horrible. And dropping Anvil on the same time. 1984 Van Halen album, horrible. Other than 2 songs in there, Hot for Teacher, and there's one other one I forgot. Horrible. Oh, just this. Oh. All right, so let's bring this one up here. And so, my man, I'm going to show you where you should go here. So we're going to look at a map of Georgia. All right, Georgia. Great state of Georgia. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you this triangle from Chattanooga to Huntsville over to Greenville. If you look at, I would actually even go, don't go to Knoxville. I mean, you could even go up here to Johnson City, but basically you can't go wrong from basically right here, right north of Chattanooga to Greenville, South Carolina, through North Georgia and Huntsville, Decatur, that whole, but the big ones are Greenville, Chattanooga, and Huntsville. Double A baseball, single A baseball, double A baseball, I think. 100,000 odd, maybe 200,000, something like that. 100,000, something like that. This whole quarter right there, man, it is fan-diddly-tastic, without question. And you can't go wrong in any of these places. I'm just telling you right now. It's gorgeous. It's freaking insanely beautiful. You can even go up to Loudon here and go all the way down like that. Shoops, just cut across North Georgia. Oh, my goodness. You can't go wrong. I tell you, man, it's awesome. Now, where I'm going to go, I'm going up here, Western Virginia. I love it up here, right in here. So from basically, here's where we used to live, this tiny little town called Dayton, Virginia. Here's Stanton. And if you're familiar with Joel Salatin, he lives in the Polyface Farms, is right over here. But anyway, right through here from Stanton, which is Augusta County, on down to basically Roanoke, that area right there. Oh, man, it is fantastic. My brother lives over here in Richmond. And I love. My mom still lives in Harrisonburg. I love it. This area is just freaking awesome. It's just nothing more gorgeous than that. I could handle Johnson City, this area a little bit for sure. I could handle that. I could also handle North Georgia. Again, cutting across here. I'm right here right now in Alpharetta. I could handle like cutting across here. Dahlonega is where we went to as a second phase of Ranger School right there. Dahlonega. It's definitely Stickville, and I think that's actually where the Squeal Like a Pig was in North Georgia, or up that way. That movie was. It's hard to beat. This is awful pretty too. I'm not gonna lie. This whole area is freaking nice. You start getting down here, it gets more and more humid and flat, and it's just it's painful to me. I gotta tell you though, man, a lot of people don't realize this, but right down here, Orange Beach in Alabama, oh my goodness, there's some awesome beaches. You're not gonna have better beaches than basically from Fort Walton Beach over. These beaches are fantastic in Florida. Oh my goodness. But where I'm from, because I was born on an island, or I was raised on an island up here. If I can point out where my little stomping grounds was. Hold on just a second. That little island right there. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Right? That's my island right there that I was raised on. So you can see it's quite a distance from where I'm at now to there. But man, I missed the water, something wicked. I'm not going to lie to you. And there's definitely something to be said about the Northeast, especially the Maine. The water, it's just different than like than Georgia or some of that. So tough to go wrong, man. I tell you, but it's just too cold up there. My better half would not have us moving up to Maine. Just too cold. But anyway. All right, let's see. Don't have to bend over when harvesting either. Yeah, right on. That's right, Don. Exactly right. Actually, I got some 4 foot, 3 foot grow boxes that I've actually put together, and I'm going to get some more. They're fantastic too. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm trying to have these like retainer walls. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drill some screws into the mortar there. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe into the brick. I can't remember. And I can put these strings on there. And so I'm going to hang strings down to those 3 foot grow boxes. And so I'll be able to get some. And I got this nice sun that just blows on the side of the retaining walls. I'm just going to it's awesome. It just occurred when I was driving home. I said, oh man, I could put tomatoes up there and just have them growing up these vines. Lots of wasted space. I never thought, but it just hit me. What happens when you have silence, my friends? When you're quiet, you have lots of good stuff that hits that brain of yours. Julie says, packed to court. Everyone's a citizen, triple mask, and DC being a state. You know, I'm not all that worried about the pack. My brother or my sister, somebody's texting me, and we have a little group chat between my brother, my sister, and me, and all of our better halves. And one of them had said, "Oh my goodness!" And I said, "Look, until it's in committee, I'm not worried about it. It's awful hard for me to imagine that." Look, FDR won going away. All right. Biden, let's just say he won, if you know what I'm saying. He did not win going away. There's no coattails for Sniffy Joe in his win, if you know what I'm saying. No one likes Kamala. I mean, she's a clown. Everybody knows she's a clown. She's smart as a rock. Well, you're saying that just because she's a strong black woman. Kamala is probably smarter than Joe Biden, which shows you how dumb Joe Biden is. At the end of the day, just these guys aren't very liked. That's all there's to it. Kamala is not going to win. As such, there's no coattails for Sniffy Joe. They got a 6-seat majority in the House. They have no majority other than the Kamala in the Senate. The idea that they're going to pack the court with, okay. We shall see. I mean, look, man, at the end of the day, it's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. I get that. Georgia passed some law that's okay. It's better than nothing. It's not nearly as good as it should have been. I don't know why Major League Baseball made a big stink, or Coke. I mean, this is weird. It was like of all the laws to make a big stink out, this was not it. Why die on this hill? It's stupid. But it's better than what it was. I mean, it should have been enacted many moons ago. But Republicans, that's why they're called the stupid party, because they don't recognize the shenanigans the Democrats are up to. Yeah. Nuts. But anyway, DC being a state, that's literally not in the Constitution, so that's unconstitutional. I'd be more worried about Puerto Rico, but I'm not sure why that's kind of not been out there. It's odd to me. That seems like an easy win for the Democrats. I'm not sure where that went. That's a different one. DC being a state, I'm not at all concerned about that. Packed to court, I'm not all that worried about it. I just am not. In fact, it's funny because this is how idiotic the Republicans are. Why our leadership, since basically, I knew Newt Gingrich won. He used to be in this district before I was here, but even he was advocating a Puerto Rico state when it seemed like the Republicans were losing our Hispanic votes, and we need to show the Hispanics we love them by we'll say we want Puerto Rico to be a state as well, and then they'll love us. I'm like, are you freaking idiotic? Do you think Mexicans care two craps about Puerto Ricans, or Cubans care two craps about Puerto Ricans, or freaking Venezuela? Argentinians, Guatemalans. This monolithic idea of Spanish speakers is insanity. I'll never forget that. On top of Newt Gingrich, I think around the same time, is advocating for a Puerto Rican state to show that we care. We really care about the Hispanic voters. Was also sitting on the bench with stupid Nancy Pelosi saying, yes, we have to do about carbon emissions. Freaking idiots, man. As Republicans, they always go that way. John Boehner goes that way. None of them come this way. It's always the other way around. It's crazy. I reached my fire number. How close am I to retirement now? And I got no idea. I don't even know what a fire number is. Conservative supermajority in the House and the Senate here. We're on Missouri, yeah. But did Missouri have a? Oops, let me. Oh yes, okay. Wait, Yeah, oh, that's good. Did Missouri have a mask mandate? Because they did. They can kiss my big fat behind. Any governor who had a mask mandate can kiss my fat behind. That's all there is to it. All right, so here we go. Julie, when should you start your 401k conversions? I'm retired, but husband has less than 2 years. All right, so I want to be. This is a great question. My friend up in Maine, we'll call her Tammy. All right, Tammy, and maybe she's watching, maybe she's not. She was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Eager to do Roth conversions. I said, and when we ran the right capital, I said, it's not worth it, man. And the reason why it wasn't worth it is because she's an effective tax rate is flat for the rest of her life. Her marginal tax bracket is flat for the rest of her life, basically 22 to 25%. And I was just like, I don't see any value there. I don't, because what you're doing is you're going to pay more tax today to pay less in the future. And that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is pay more tax today to avoid paying more in the future, if that makes sense. And Tammy was single. And I just said, I don't see any value. In fact, I don't think it's worth it at all. Never mind the time value of money. The money lost by doing Roth conversions inherently can't grow for you. It can't be used. Hello, Finnegan. You want to come up and say hi to everybody? All right. Finny just came barging on in here like he owns the place. If your tax bracket is going to be the same in effective tax rates, remember, there's two things going on. Effective tax rate is how much taxes you actually pay relative to your gross income. So if you're hey, thanks guys, Chloe. Hey girl, look at this. She's so beautiful. Don't we love her? Where should she go to college, everybody? Oh, you smell like you're what did you eat? What did you
Clam
eat?
chowder.
Oh, clam chowder. Uh-oh. And there's Chloe, and then oh boy. And then there's Pablo, and here comes the big boy. Thanks, girl. Chloe, got anything you want to add to the camera or anything you want to say?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah. How's being a junior in high school treating you?
Very stressful. Probably the most stressful year, but it's almost
okay. Let's talk about me. So,
come on, boys. Come on,
don't you love Chloe? Love you, pumpkin.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Come on,
She gets her look from her mom's, obviously.
Aww.
All right, thanks, girl. That's my girl. I love having families. All right. Oh man, thank you, Lord. I tell you. Oh man, what a good kid. You know, when Chloe was first born, we didn't know she was going to make it. She had a ventricular tachycardia, and she was at the UVA NICU. And for the first basically month of her life, and her heart was beating like a freaking double bass, like a Slayer, Dave Lombardo drum kit. You know what I'm saying? The doctor. They had never seen ventricular tachycardia in Rock Memorial Hospital in Virginia. So they sent her on a medevac to UVA, and they're like, I'll never forget one time I was sitting on a plane, talked to a guy coming from San Antonio. We had to stop in Atlanta, and he was a doctor in the NICU and a cardiologist. And I said, yeah, man, my daughter had a ventricular tachycardia. He goes, you sure it wasn't instead of VTAC, it wasn't supra tachycardia, which is when your heart has an issue above. I said, no, it's the underneath. He goes, I hadn't heard that very much. You sure? I said, dude, I'm ventricular tachycardia. It wasn't SVAC or I forget what it was, but it wasn't that. It wasn't the more common one. He's like, anyway, he was going to University of Virginia, as a matter of fact, on the cardiologist. And I said, man, look up whatever I want to say Dr. Lim. I forgot his name, but I said, look him up, man, because he was the guy that took care of Chloe. And it was tough, man. It was tough. And I remember one time, because Chloe was the big girl on campus because all the other ones are preemies. Essentially, they had single moms who were crack addicted. It's horrible. But Chloe was a big girl because she was born normally, not a preemie. And but I remember one of the nurses was scared to hold Chloe, one of the NICU nurses, because A, she was big, and B, she was like, she didn't know what to do if her heart started doing like that. She's scared. You could see in her eyes. And it freaked me out, man. I was like, you could just tell she just did not she didn't know what to do if Chloe's heart started beating like that. Anyway, here she is. And, you know, but it's funny. God is good even if she didn't survive. That's the thing. I think a lot of Christians, I think we got to be recognizing that we're blessed regardless of how our lives turn out, if that makes sense. You don't want to say you're blessed because things are good, because then people who don't have things going well, they say, I guess I'm not blessed. And that's simply not true. And you can't allow that to percolate as if there's some validity to that. Everyone's blessed. Jesus died for us all, man. You know what I'm saying? He didn't die for anyone over another. He died for us all. And I think a lot of Christians make this mistake. This prosperity gospel crap. I hate that crap, by the way. But it's not just prosperity. It's, oh, yeah, man, life is good. I've been blessed. I'm like, that always. And look, I can say that too. And I try to be conscious not to say that, because you don't know who's listening. And you might be allowing someone who doesn't feel blessed to think, I guess I'm not blessed because my life isn't good. And you can't. You're all blessed. Even if you're in the gutter, you're blessed. You're blessed. You are. That's just a fact. And it's just nuts. I was reading today, the book of Samuel, where David, that rapscallion, I hope you all are familiar with the story of King David. It's nuts, man. The idea that Christians are perfect. There ain't no Christian who says he's perfect. Now remember, David was a Jew. So before people say, he's not a Christian. Give me a break. There is no Christian that will say we're perfect people. Any Christian who does is a fool, because it's not true. And there's a bumper sticker that says Christians aren't perfect, we're just forgiven. I don't even like that. You're all forgiven. You just got to ask for it, man. You just got to seek forgiveness. Everyone is. Anyway, but the story of David, I mean, it's literally like a soap opera. You're like, holy crap. This is the King David, man. We got King Solomon. We got King David. Never mind Peter and Paul. I mean, this is the heroes of the Bible outside of Jesus Christ. It's nuts. You're sitting there thinking, Paul held the jackets for the Pharisees to stone Stephen, the first martyr. He held them. He was sent on a mission to Damascus to hunt down the followers of the way, because they didn't call them Christians back then. He was out there on a freaking search and destroy mission. That's Paul. And Peter, even though he saw that, Peter's just a fisherman, just some regular dude fishing. He's like, dude, I didn't ask for this. But he saw all that Jesus did. And yet he still said, I don't know who that guy is. I don't know. But he saw the miracles. These are our heroes. And yet, hallelujah. Somehow we still sit there and bow down in glory to the rising of Jesus Christ. It's amazing. I mean, just what? But Josh, how do you account for that? I don't know. I don't know how to account for all that. Frankly, I don't need to know. I'm interested in people's perspective, but dude, did Jesus live? Yes. And inherently, if he lived, he died. All right. So we can answer, there's three things. Did Jesus live? And then if he lived, he died. As such, the only thing that matters is, did Jesus rise from the dead? That's it. Just don't make it harder than it is. Oh, but Josh, how about what was the ones, David had to slaughter, just in the same way, had to slaughter children of, I forgot the town. It sucks. I don't know why. I don't pretend to know why. All I know is, did Jesus rise from the dead? If he rose from the dead, I'm throwing in with that guy. If he didn't rise from the dead and I threw in with him and he didn't rise, well, that stinks to be me. It's all in vain, as Paul says. All right. So anyway, going back to Julie. She says, when she started Roth commercials. All right. So here's the issue. Would you stay on topic? Dude, there's nothing more important than the love I have for Jesus, man. Nothing. God, family, country. Not God, country, family. God, family, country. That's all there is to it. Nothing more important. So if it bothers you, I don't know what to tell you, man. If loving the Lord is wrong, I don't want to be right. Oh, man. And just the glory of your daughter bringing you tea while I sit here chatting with you all, man, so much to be grateful for. Oh my goodness. It's so much to be grateful for. And I'm not grateful nearly enough. But I don't want to hear your sermons. I don't care. I really don't care. All right. So Julie is married, all right, because she says she has a husband. All right. So that means there's married filing jointly, which means at some point in the future, we can be certain that Julie or her husband's taxes will go up because they'll be a single taxpayer. Thus, Julie should start looking at doing Roth conversions ASAP. She should start looking at it. Now, he's working. She's retired, so they got one income. Hubby is still working. We don't know what his income is. But they should start looking at it. Doesn't mean they should start doing it, but they should start looking at it. So again, Julie and hubby are married filing jointly. At one point, they will no longer be married filing jointly, but they'll be single. So they'll go from essentially 12 to 22% on the same income, 12 to 22. In fact, they'll go from 12 to 22 tax bracket on less income because they lose one of the Social Securities, if that makes sense. So we know for a fact, Julie and hubby are at 12%, whatever. I'll just use that for example. Hubby dies. Now it's just Julie, and she's at 22% on even less income than she had with hubby. Thus, we know, unlike Tammy's was flat, man. So for her to do, so she's in a 12% tax bracket or 22% tax bracket is what it was. For her to do Roth conversions to put her in a 24% tax bracket, all that's going to do is make her in the long run only being essentially a 22%, probably still in a 22% tax bracket. There's no benefit of doing that at all. None. But Julie and hubby, on the other hand, are in a 12% tax bracket. If they don't do Roth conversions, they're going to be in a higher tax bracket at some point. I hope that helps. Scott Lewis says his dad's from Jasper, Indiana. Right on, man. Jasper. Arkansas, I call it Arkansas. It's supposed to be a nice place for retirees. Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely. I mean, it's freaking, that whole area is beautiful. Missouri, southern Missouri, north. I mean, I love it, man. Roy Jones says, go for retirement. You'll never regret it. Man, he does not look like he used to when he's in the boxing ring. That's for sure. Sean, all right. If I'm a debt-free, built up a year reserve for my wife, would I be correct in thinking to heavily invest after covering our normal expenses? Oh, absolutely. Yes, 100%. I want to just be advised, though. So looks like Sean's a pretty young guy. Remember, man, the market is going to be very topsy-turvy. I just cannot stress this enough. The best thing about freaking plugging away, you don't care. I'm just telling you right now, man, it's so much better when you're just adding on a regular basis because it doesn't matter because you're not pulling the money out. Everything changes when you're pulling the money out. This is what drives me crazy about people who are trying to make some elaborate investing schemes when they're still adding to it. I said, man, you can't, I'm going to jump out, jump back in, I'm like, why? You're not even pulling the money out. Stand how many people say, hey, I'm 42 years old. You think the market's too high? Should I get out? I'm like, what? Dude, when are you going to need the money? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Why do you care? Just sit there. Sit there. Don't just do something. Sit there, as Louis Roy Rukeyser used to say from Wall Street Week back when I was growing up. Don't just do something. Sit there. Oh, it drives me up the wall. Now, if you're retired and you're pulling money out, it's a whole different ballgame, man. All right. My man retired 2019 says, I retired at 56. I assume that's 2019. As a single person, I never owned a home. Freedom is priceless. Man, right on. Q Humor says, a live stream? What? Yeah, man. We haven't done many live streams lately. I enjoy them, actually. I've been thinking about doing them on a more regular basis because they're fun. What was I getting ready to say on that? Yeah, some of the guys I watch, I actually come accustomed to seeing them every day or every other day. I enjoy it. And so I started thinking, maybe my audience is like that. But, these guys talk more political stuff, and I don't want to get too, it bores me. But, maybe I got tons of articles on here to read from, but I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see. Frankly, I also don't like being chained to a schedule, to be honest with you. My biggest concern when I quit my crap old job was, will I be able to stay focused on a task? Because my mind is like, blah, 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 squirrel. And I'm like, yeah, and I've actually been able to do a lot better than I thought, frankly. But I'm not sure I'd want to do it on a regular scheduled basis. Tech stocks and IPOs have been crashing. Really? I haven't paid much mind. How much cash savings in addition to 401k do you recommend having when you retire? 1 to 2 years of expenses? I'll let others answer that, mi amigo. So my man Tumpy, how much cash should you have when you retire? 1 to 2 years of expenses? You all can answer that. Looking to do a drop to a Lincoln Benefit variable universal life policy on one life with a long-term care rider. This will pay up the policy. Oh, drop it. Okay, right on. He's looking to do a drop it, right on. Give me guaranteed death benefit. Hey man, good. So let's talk about this. This is a good one. So my man Thomas Reichard. All right, so a drop in means he's going to dump a lump sum in there. And we're going to say $50,000. I'm just going to use that for an example. A variable universal life. All right, a one life policy just over his life. That's it. He has a long-term care rider, so he'll be able to pull some out. Essentially, is what's called an accelerated death benefit, where he can pull money out if he meets one of the 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, and presumably that will be in-home health care as well. Used to not be that on long-term care policies. Now I think they predominantly are. So there's a lot of stuff in that. I get that. There is a lot of stuff in there. The key thing is a drop-in. Presumably. That will be a pay up the policy. All right. I cannot stress how important that is, my friends. Let me move my big fat face or this thing so you can see my big fat face. All right. There's 2 things that drive me insane about life insurance. One is all the idiots who say life insurance can solve all the world's problems. And 2 is all the idiots who say life insurance are the epitome of evil. Both are just stupid. If you do a fully funded life insurance policy, what my man Thomas is doing, where you're paying it up so there's no more premium, it basically endows. It has a guaranteed, it will never lapse. And you're doing it not because you think you're going to do better than the market, not because you go, oh my goodness, all this tax-free income, but to serve the purpose what he's talking about, which it could grow. If the markets do something, it'll give you some rate of return. It won't be market-like because there's fees in there, but it'll be market-like minus the fees. I got no qualm with that. None. On top of that, there is a death benefit that will transfer tax-free to your heir or whoever. To me, he should name me as beneficiary. So he names me as beneficiary. I get the money tax-free. All right, it's great. So a variable universal life policy is a way to make sure that you have money that's growing, potentially. I mean, it's assured that money is growing, presuming the markets grow. It grows tax deferred. There is no gains. You don't pay capital gains, no 1099, nothing like that on the cash value accumulation, none whatsoever. Assuming it pays out at death, it's tax-free to your heirs. So basically, you could argue it's a tax-free. I get very cautious when I hear you could take your cash out tax-free while you're still alive as a loan. I don't like that at all. Lots of problems there. So I don't like it's guaranteed cash value or tax-free cash value. You can take it against as a loan against your policy and have tax-free income for life. Oh, that kills me. So no. So it's tax deferred until you die, then it's tax-free. You could take a loan against a tax-free. I grant you that. But if things go south, you're going to pay the tax man big time, and you won't have a death benefit either as bad. Anyway, so there are some huge benefits here. Because once it's paid up, the insurance company has got to honor that contract. The insurance company says this is endowed as pay up. You don't have to make any more premiums. We guarantee this death benefit at your death. Guaranteed. On top of that, there's an accelerated death benefit, which means you have access to it for long-term care before you die, assuming that you meet 2 of the 6 activities of daily living issues that need to be addressed. Now, will the insurance company be keen on paying that out? Probably. Why? Because it reduces the death benefit they have to pay. So when you actually have a life insurance with a long-term care rider, unlike long-term care straight up insurance policies, the life insurance company says every dollar we give to this guy is one less dollar we're going to have to give as a death benefit, if that makes sense. And it also makes it eats into the cash value. I don't want to get too deep in that, but I'm a fan of it, man. I am. I as long as it's paid up and it has a guaranteed death benefit, I got no qualm at all, man. None. Can anyone find a photo of the indie shooter 20 hours later? No, what? There's an indie shooter at the FedEx place. So if you can't find a photo and we haven't identified him, can we assume he's not white then, right? Because if he's white, he'd be all over the news by now and blaming Trump. It seems that stock market is new casino for some people. I've been hearing that my whole life, man. I mean, yes, it is a casino, but it always has been like that. That's not true. Stock market is the only way to get wealthy. Yeah, I don't think that's true in the least, man. No antibiotics. Yeah, that's the issue. Antibiotics are bad. No pesticides. Generally speaking, I agree with that. Absolutely. High fructose corn syrup. Yep, that's not good, man. Best place to keep cash. All right, so let's. What U.S. state is the best for taxes for some who retired beyond and lives from dividends? I don't know. There's way too much that could be in that. All right, so Charles says retired, paid off mortgage, or hang on to cash. All right. I would. I did a video of this about a year ago. I'd say I would hang on to cash right now. I really, really would. Especially retired. You don't get a second chance at that. My preference obviously would be you don't have a mortgage, but you still have a bill to pay. You're still going to be paying it. But I tell you, man, at the end of the day, cash is king, forever will be. But cash is what? Cash is trash. For any of y'all who think cash is trash, please send your trash to me. Please, I'll be happy to take your trash. I'll even come pick it up for you. I'll be the trash man. All right, I'll be the trash collector. Give me your trash. Yeah, and then on top of that, if you are worried about inflation, well, your mortgage will love inflation. That's just all there is to it. Being in debt is a wonderful thing if inflation kicks in, which is one of the reasons people think the U.S. government is going to let the inflation rate kick in because it makes our dollar worth less, which means our debt is worth less. The problem with that is who has the bulk of the debt for the U.S.? It's not foreigners, it's us, man. So you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not worried about inflation. I'm not. The inflationary stuff is short term. I truly believe. I think there's some short term. Absolutely. Well, you had an insane shutdown of the overall economy. We put money into people's pockets that don't deserve it, frankly. I mean, so it doesn't shock me. The problem is that in this, what we have is absolutely of a K recovery. This actually ticks me off. I'm not going to lie to you. It's all orchestrated by Fauci and his band of freaking corrupt individuals. So we have inflation and we have economic growth. So I did very well last year. Very well. I'm on this side of the K. A lot of people did very poorly. They're on this side. And so for me, it's 2020 was good. For you, maybe not so much. However, I will tell you, I talked to a lot of guys in the trades, and they're kicking butt and taking names. Actually, at the gardening thing I was talking to a guy who does spray foam insulation. Said 2020 was the best year he ever had by far. So Doug B says, I had to recover the roses. We're going to have below freezing temperatures overnight in Illinois for the week. Yikes. Actually, I think we're going to get cold here too, Dougie Fresh. All right, let's take a look here. What's happening in the good old state of Georgia? Got Georgia on my mind. Yeah, tonight it's going to be down into 40s. Oh, that's tomorrow. 46. Burr. And my old stomping grounds of Maine is 37 degrees right now at Peaks Island. They're calling for snow. Snow on Peaks Island. Oh, my lands, a 60% chance of snow on Peaks Island. Nuts to that, dude. Let's see here. Coeur d'Alene, 66 degrees. No snow. Let's see, Prescott, 64 degrees. No snow. Rapid City, calling for snow. Right up north where my man Fritz Gilbert lives, 54 degrees in Blue Ridge, Georgia. It's getting down to 34 on Wednesday. Man, does that mean I just put a lot of transplants in the ground, man? Jeez Louise and blue cheese. Snow in Boston. Anyway, so there you go, man. Cold. Man, cray. When my wife, she was going to Boston College for graduate school, and I had just graduated George Mason, and I said, hey, this four of them married, so we let's just put it this way: we did not follow the typical Catholic route of getting married before we lived together. Whatever. Anyway, so so I called her. I said, I graduate in August. What are you going to do? And this is before we were tight, but we didn't really know what we were going to do. And she goes, man, it's in April. I said, I've always wanted to move out west. You want to move with me? She goes, hell yeah. I said, why? She goes, because it's in the middle of April. This is in 1997. She was getting like 2 feet of snow or something like that, a foot of snow. I can't remember. She goes, I got to get out of here, man. April, we're getting a foot of snow. I said, let's move to Phoenix. So we flew out there in May of 1997. My dad said, Tucson's where it's at. Tucson's where it's at. And I said, dude, we went down to Tucson. I said, this place sucks. It's a pit. I don't like it. And if you're from Tucson, I apologize, but I didn't like it at all. So nope, no Tucson for me. So we settled on Phoenix. That's where we ended up living and enjoyed it for a couple of years. But remember, there ain't no Swarrows in Texas. All right, just keep that in mind. But there are many Swarrows in Phoenix. Huh? You know who told me that? The Reverend Horton Heat. Ain't no Swarrows in Texas. I would play that song for you, but I'd be demonetized. The Reverend Horton Heat. Let's see if we can't find that song, by the way. Bear with me just a second. If you like rockabilly, it's going to be tough to beat the Reverend. So we're going to go to the Reverend. Oh, hold on a second. Ain't no Swarrows. I don't know how to spell them in Texas. Yeah, right there. All right. So let's find you some good tunes to listen to right there. I would play it for you, but I can't. Ain't no Swarrows in Texas. It's a good song. Good song. Hey, look at that. How Texas taxes retirees. Ooh, what if I went incognito? Let's do that. I tell you what. Hold on just a second, amigos. We're going to try an experiment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go incognito. All right, so let me bring, can I do that? I'm not sure I can do that while you guys are observing. Let's see. Can I do that? Maybe I can't. Dagnabbit. Can I add this to, no, I guess not. I don't want, all right, I guess I can't do that. That stinks. No, I can't do that. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can't. Guess not. Okay. Oh, sweet. I can. All right, cool. So we're going to go incognito, go YouTube. Now so what happens is when you're in your search engine for YouTube, what is the deal with this chick? She's everywhere. Like, well, at least from YouTube. Can we stop with this crap? I just, freaking YouTube, man. She's so cool. Look, she's got a tattoo. She's so cool. And she's fighting for... Anyway, so what we're doing, we're going to play Ain't No Swarrows in Texas. All right. There's a reason I'm doing this, my friends. And we're going to see, okay, what shows up. All right. Hey, look at that. So this is good. So if you type in Ain't No Swarrows in Texas, you'll see my video shows up, not in the first, in the first realm, but you might say, hey, why is this guy's thing showing up? His video. Can y'all see that? Let's see. Make sure. Yeah, y'all can see that. Well, the reason is because see how I got the word Texas in the title. All right, just for you YouTube newbies.
What's the difference between?
All right. And it's incognito, so it doesn't know who I am, doesn't know I'm searching. And notice when I say I have in the very first thing here, I talk about Texas. All right. So I'm telling you right now, for YouTube algorithm, you want to always have the name of what you're trying to say in the title. Your search engine results page, you always want to have it in the title. So Texas, ain't no Suarez in Texas. Texas is, you got to have that keyword in the first sentence of your description. All right. You always got to do that. I'm telling you, man, this is the way to do it. Then you can see here, I got a lot of thumbs up. Some thumbs down don't hurt. Thumbs down don't hurt me, man. I mean, as long as the thumbs up are more than the thumbs down, it doesn't hurt me. Not that many comments and not that many views, but hey, I mean, that's pretty good. All right. And so we got Jimmy says he'll never retire in Texas. We got Prairie Mark. We all know Prairie Mark is up in Montana. Let's just see what the newest comments are first. Rent in Texas, do not buy. Really high property taxes. Mine is 11,000 years. A rogue economist. Let's see what his channel is about. If he's got, all right, so there's a rogue economist. All right, he's not doing much. Yeah, see, this isn't, okay. But you gotta, yeah, so he's not doing much. All right, so I guess he's not really putting much out there. All right, cool. So there you go. And that's how you figure out YouTube algorithm. You got to make sure you title it. Now you'll notice on all my videos now, I title it, but I don't have any description just because I do so many nowadays. Back then I was just trying to do one a day. Now I just, whenever I feel like yapping, I get on there and I start yapping. As you can see by my blistering amount of posts I posted in the last 2 days, I had all these videos I could not post from Kidder, Missouri because there's no connection. And I just said, when I get back home, it can boom, 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 boom. All right. All right. Ask French how much they like Phyllorexa. All right. Well, what is Phyllorexa? You have me peaked. So we're gonna go DuckDuckGo. All right. So let's share screen. What is Phylloxera? Phylloxera. I don't even know what the hell that is. So let's type in Phylloxera on DuckDuckGo. What is Phylloxera? What is it? It's an insect pest of commercial grapevines worldwide, originally native to North America, Eastern North America. All right, so there's some kind of bug. Wine folly. What is the cause of grape Phylloxera destruction? How come there's no cure? Where they come from? Ooh, they hitting the roots right there. That's not good. The microscopic ape. Oh, freaking aphids, man. I hate them. And eat roots or grapes. They can infest a vineyard from the soles of the vineyard workers' boots are naturally spread from pride. All right, there you go. Ugh, look at those things. Those freaking bastards. Phylloxera. Aphids. Ugh. All right. What happened to crop rotation? I don't think they do that much, man. I think crop rotation is not done very often, if at all anymore. Do I believe the U.S. should split in two countries? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But why? Or, we can split. I did a video the other day. I said, look, man, you're going to have to separate from, you're just going to have to split in your own way, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Like, there is community that is welcoming, and then there's community that you don't want to be part of, if you ask me. And, you can split in your own way, man. I mean, do you really think a sheriff in Rockingham County, Virginia, all right, just listen. So Virginia is run by Dems, liberal Dems. Do you think a sheriff in Rockingham County, Virginia is going to go after AR-15s? No. Now, we know what's going to happen. The Fed's going to the Democrats will put bills on it to make it harder to get ammunition, all that stuff. That sucks. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of your ability to get firearms, in terms of your ability to, and there's always going to be a federal government. That's, I mean, the Republicans, hell, the Republicans is Nixon, man. EPA, OSHA, that's all Nixon. So the idea that the Republicans are somehow beneficial relative to freedoms of average Americans and Democrats are violations, I would have said Republicans are just as bad. They're all part of the swamp. One of the best things that Trump did, I think, which is underlooked, and it's too bad he didn't do this more, but he had no back from the Republican Party. He didn't. Is he talked about, sending the Department of Agriculture out to Kansas City. I thought that made sense. Why the hell is a DOA, Department of Agriculture or Department of Energy, why are these in Washington, D.C.? So you separate the swamp by moving these agencies out in the hinterland. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a wonderful idea. And it would be nice if that got more traction. Because that's how you separate the swamp, is you say you can't have this rotating, because it's such a big, I mean, look, Trump's guy, Gottlieb, right, and Azar, they're both big pharma guys. So we had, his whole crew was also big business. Exxon guy, what his name was from Exxon, he was big business. The two guys were big pharma. Gottlieb's a clown. Scott Gottlieb. You can kiss my big fat behind. Big fat clown. Department of Labor, he's a big clown. I mean, they're just clowns, man. Clown shows. It sucks, man. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just so we can split up. But I mean, at the end of the day, how? Yeah. Why would we? It's like we're going to split up because the Democrats are taking over. Why should we be the ones to split up? They should split up. It's our country. I'm not going to see the United States to live. Screw that. Oh, split up. But I do think you're going to have to find community, which is why, going to a place like the Mittleider Gardening Boot Camp, finding like-minded people. A lot of them are LDS, not all of them. I'm not LDS, but a lot of them were. I was worried there wasn't going to be coffee there because I know a lot of LDS don't drink coffee. But there was enough of us that they did have coffee, thank the good Lord. But you're just going to find like-minded people to be in your community. That's a fact. And you're going to have to get out of the I just think you got to get out of the cities anyway. The cities are not where you want to be. I mean, just you think about it. What they do in LA, some guy want to open a store, so they turn off the electricity and the water. I think this is nuts, man. You're not gonna overcome that. It's not happening, man. There's too many people reliant on the government largesse that will do whatever they are told to do to keep the food coming in. And if that means they're going to, bulldoze you, they're going to bulldoze you. And I'm in the outer suburbs of Fulton County, Georgia. But I tell you, man, just like the McCloskeys in St. Louis, whatever that county was, St. Louis County, whatever. When the district attorney turned on those people for trying to protect their assets, the district attorney said, screw you. You guys are the minority. They're whites. I'm the majority, and I need to be reelected. So I'm coming after you hook, line, and sinker. And we kind of had the same thing here with our district attorney. It wasn't against the whites specifically, it was policemen. One was a black guy, one was a white guy. And the DA went after them like freaking stink on poop. And he got thrown out, though, thank goodness. But still, the person replacing him in Fulton County, I think is a woman. She's not going to be any better, man. I mean, we're run by libs. So you got to get out of the liberal counties. And county is a big one right there for sure. You got to also, don't forget, man, if you're in a middling county or a school district, run for school district. My man Turtle Boy, Aiden Kearney up in Worcester, Massachusetts is running for school board. He's been interviewing local people in Massachusetts who are also running for school board because they're pissed. They're like, dude, this whole thing's nuts. Some might win, some might lose. Maybe they all lose, maybe they all win. I don't know. But, school board. And these are big deals. A lot of stuff. And, Aiden's run against some clown. I'm just an idiot who said 10,000 kids have died in Massachusetts because of COVID. She's a clown. She's a lying sack of poop, man. She's lying. She knows it. She forgot what happened, but she said, I can't get mad. My uncle died or my dad died. It's just lying. She's just a liar. But she fits what the liberals want. She checks all the boxes. So like, okay, whatever. You can lie to us. He's like, no. She should not be dictating what my daughter goes through school. This is nuts. So he said, I'm going to run. And that's what you got to do, man. You got to step up. It doesn't take much, especially a school board. How many people actually vote for a school board? How many people vote for a health commission or something like that? So anyway, let's see. Bob says, replace soybean and corn with chestnut, hazelnuts, agroforestry. I think chestnuts are on the way out, sadly, but hopefully we can replenish them. All right, here's how. I left a pension of 43, fully vested. I just found I can buy 3 years military add-on. Should I go back to the company for the 7 years to get the 20 years I can collect with the... Should I go back to the company for the 7 years and get the 20 years? Oh, okay, I see what he's saying. I can collect with the 14. Okay, so basically saying she'd go back for another 6 or 7 years to... I don't know, maybe. And how much can you handle that? I mean, could you handle it? I mean, you left it for a reason, man. I mean, you left for a reason. So that would tell me no. Is the pension worth 7 years of your life that you obviously don't like because you left? I would say probably no, but I don't know the whole point. Move to Arizona. Please don't export the liberals. Fermented soy is medicine for staving off clots. Okay. There's Swan Moon. Okay. Oh, man. All right, Swan. So I'm not sure if that's what you look like, but be careful with crazies because you're definitely a good-looking person. Be careful. Lots of crazy. Like, hey, Swan Moon, here's my digits. All right, Chris, I just bought a house in Bangor, Maine. Hey, I come from out of state. I have $35,000 cash. Do you recommend using the cash to buy land to keep up with inflation or just use it for home updates? Do you not have that's a good question. All right. So you just bought a house in Bangor, Maine, and you got $35,000 cash. I'm assuming you got a mortgage there, brother. And if you had email or put comments on here before, Chris, I don't know what happens to them. They go away if I yap too much. That's a tough one. I'm not so sure. And land is going to keep up with inflation. I don't know. I would actually, I guess, here's what I would do. And here's what I'm doing. Because I kind of have the same kind of thoughts as you, Chris. Trust me, I have these same thoughts. I said, man, I want to get better at my own gardening skills in my little house right here, if that makes sense. And then once I get better, where I'm pretty comfortable and, build a greenhouse and things of that nature, and I'm able to show real good production off my plants, then I'd be looking to get some more land. But until I can get, on this, I guess I probably growing on 1/10 of an acre back there, until I can get that really, producing on a regular basis, I think putting cash into a piece of land is I don't think it's worthwhile yet. I don't. I would learn how to use my own property first, keep the cash on the side, see how things shake out. I'm not buying land right now. I tell you, man, there's something funny going on. I don't know what it is. There is no way that this level of money is sustainable for people to buy all this. There's no way. I don't get it. There's maybe there is. I don't know. It's just nuts. Yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah, but I would, especially have a debt. If you have debt, I'd make sure I'd be heavily paying down debt. Yeah, Eric says he's for, but the market keeps going up. I'm strong believe in term life only. Yeah, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Just moved to my 401k to a self-directed IRA. Worried about my exposure to risk. $800,000 and 57-year-old. Like to get out of the race. Bonds are scary. Why are bonds scary? Because inflation. So again, if inflation is what everyone's worried about, because it's definitively coming, or definitely coming, I should say. Why, oh why then, is a 10-year treasury at 1.573, which is off. It was at 1.67, and so now it's at 1.573. Why has it dropped? It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know. I mean, there's your 10-year Treasury, and if you look over here, you can see my hands are dirty because I was out in the garden. Oops. This is recently, and you can see we're still just right where we were before the pandemic reaction started, so it's still quite low. That's a 5-year, 10-year Treasury. The most the 10-year Treasury was 3.189 on November 5th, 2018. That's it, man. Over 5 years. So for 5 years, it's been, really even longer than that, but it only goes back 5 years. It has been significantly lower than historical norms. So, and you're telling me inflation is kicking in now because the government's piling on so much debt. What was the amount of money since LBJ? That was certainly inflationary, and yet we didn't get it other than the 70s, which had outside influences on that, to include idiot Nixon, OPEC a little bit, I grant you, but I don't know, man. Can we talk two-bucket where to place cash? I mean, I said a million times Sunday, I like the Vanguard Ginnie Mae fund. I just VFIIX. It's my favorite fund for the cash bucket. Big fan. So I would highly. I can't recommend anybody do anything. I personally, when I'm in retirement and I own bonds, which I don't now, or I own cash, I'm looking at the Ginnie Mae fund. Will there be a forced stimulus? I wish the market. Oh, dude, so you're out, Eric? See, this is the issue. So Eric said, and we all love Eric, our Wisconsin brother from another mother. Eric said he's for the market keeps going up. And then he says, I wish it was just correct so I can back in. So see, Eric has made the rookie mistake that everyone does, man. They get out thinking the market is overvalued, and then it does what the market does. It has nothing to do with Eric. It just says the market does what it does. And then later on, I said, man, I should have stayed in. That's the whole point. You can't. And here's the funny thing is what I tell people all the time. I said, look, you make me feel like dancing. Gonna dance the night away. Looking to see if my dogs are out there because they like to dance. All right, so oops. All right, so here's the market going up, right? And some people say right here, the market right here is too high. So we're sitting right here. Their market's too high. Yeah, I'm getting out. And then they miss all this. And then we have a 30% decline from here. All right, so we have a 30% decline here, and they might be back right here after 30% decline. I mean, but you are here. I mean, so you're really not that far ahead, and that's if the market did a 30% decline, it'd put you behind. But I mean, I never understood this. Like, I'm going to get out to avoid a hit, and then you're missing out on all this right here. If the market, let's say, it goes down 30%, yeah, you might be a little bit better off, but you're certainly not way better off. And that's if the market takes a pretty significant tank to go below where you got out. There's no likelihood. That's not very probable either. So I said, that's why you just let it go. The market gets hit. So what? You're not spending the money. Who gives a crap? I don't get this. And I mean, this is not trying to pick on Eric here, but I've heard this 1,000 times. I'm getting out. And I say, why? It's too pricey. Okay. When do you get back in? When it falls. Okay. And then the market keeps going up. And then this doesn't make sense. It keeps going up. Well, it doesn't. The market never makes sense. It doesn't have to. It just does what it's going to do, and you should be in there while you're working, put money in, and then when you retire, you should have a better plan to avoid getting killed. But market goes up, it takes a 30% decline, you're still right back where you were when you got out. And that's if the market takes a 30% decline at that time. So anyway, I think it's a big mistake, man. All right, so here's Papa P. Hey, right on, man. My man Papa P is listening to Canada. Been listening for a couple years. Good stuff. Thanks. 20 years in a major financial institution. Right on, man. You're not by chance, my man. I can't sing back there. I can't find the book. Who had written the book? Wow. You all know the book I'm talking about. The guy from Canada, Philip Batassi or something like that. Is that his name? I can't remember. All right. Tom Major's back in town. All right. All right. I must have missed a bunch here because we're talking life insurance. My thoughts are that you can only convert if you either plan to use that money later in life, or if you plan to give it to someone after you die, or if you plan to pay the tax yourself. Oh, okay, gotcha. Tom says, my thoughts are you only convert if you either plan to use the money later in life, or if you plan to give it to someone after you die, and only if you can pay the taxes. Okay, I missed that conversation. Sorry, man. Yeah, there's no casino. The market's not a casino. Stop. I mean, some stocks you could look at casino, but you're actually literally investing in a company to capture the earnings growth of the company, which is why, in my opinion, you invest in companies that have earnings growth. The future of private pensions? Well, we were down this road before. See, ERISA, the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974. Why do they have ERISA? Because the private pensions were dogs back then. But all the liberals say everyone had a pension back in the old days before Reagan. Arguing with a liberal is like arguing with Finnegan, my dog Finny. It's fun, it's exciting, and then you just want to put your head in a vice and at the same time drop an anvil on it because you're literally arguing with someone who doesn't get basic sense. It's nuts. We need more private pensions like we used to have. Never happened. There was never a history where you add private pensions across the board. Never. We need more private pensions like before they got rid of. No. The reason we have ERISA, because many of those private pensions were not funded well, and the companies were basically offloading them. And just read the history of this stuff. Anyway, I would actually be more worried about the future of, because you know what's not subject to ERISA? Government pensions. So if government pensions are not subject to ERISA and private pensions are, what do you think is more solid state? Yeah. Oh boy. Your wife doesn't like to listen? What the hell? Get her on here, Mike. Get Miss Scooby on here. What the hell? That's unacceptable. Miss Scooby says she doesn't like to listen to me. That means I'm awesome because she's my reverse barometer. Wow, man, what the hell, dude? I'm charming. I got these pearly yellows. Jeez Louise. Yes, whatever said, the easiest way to get wealthy is not the stock market, is to be BLM founder. 100%. 100%. I can't believe Carl was banned, literally banned off YouTube. Not for his channel, for commenting. Carl actually was banned from commenting. I don't have any people in here who are freaking moderators. All right, so Pulverod says, I can give my trash to the broker, then give me a share of the wonderful companies who will make more trash for decades to come. Yeah. I think that's the way to do it. But remember, it's a casino. Now, look, I love Vinyl. I'm just giving him a hard time. Vinyl's a good contributor here, but I agree with Pulverizer. That's not a casino to me. That's not a casino to me. That's a good investment strategy. All right. Yeah. But why did you say at Tom Major troll detective? It's a clown who I just banned. Yeah. All right. So here comes Doug Squatch. Oh, interesting name there. 50 years old, getting ready to retire. CFP wants to put half of my nest egg into a no-fee annuity. Any such thing? Yes, there are no-fee annuities, or no commission annuities is probably what I assume he's saying a no commission annuity. There are some, which I'm assuming because annuities have fees. I mean, but I'm assuming he means Frank, I hate to put words into his mouth. I hope that's what he means. So if you want to fire away, Doug, if you're still here, and tell me if that's what he means or not. No commission annuity. There are no commission annuities. Yeah, appliance repair is booming. Right on, man. Whoa, Pulverizer said they had snow this week. Whoa, 4 inches of snow in Massachusetts today. And garlic was popping up through the snow. No snow in Connecticut. I'm an investment wizard. I know, I don't say that at all. But there's a bit of crazy in him. Certainly not an investment wizard. Cute humor says I refuse to turn the heat back on. All right, covered call ETF. Yeah, I'm a fan of covered calls. I no problem with it, man. I'm a fan of covered calls. I just at the end of the day, yeah, I got no qualm, none whatsoever. Just remember, you're sacrificing upside of the market, but if you're retired, the upside of the market is not what we're shooting for. I share with you my story about how I got slammed in covered calls back in 1999 to 2000. I never went down that road again, but I was trying to be a little bit too cute by half. I wasn't doing it for income, but I was doing it more for arbitrage. But I thought I could arbitrage, and it worked. As all investment strategies do, they work until they don't, and then when they don't, you get smoked. And I got smoked. I got smoked on Juniper, the CMGI, Juniper or Q's. I can't remember. One of those tech stocks I got smoked on. Oh, PetSmart. It's PetSmart. I got smoked on PetSmart. All right. Dave A is 66, has 275. He's been advised 50-50 stocks and bond mixes. Okay. I assume he's asking me if that's good. I frankly don't know. As I talk about a lot, I don't know where my book is. There's the only book that matters, by the way. I'm Bible thumping you. I'm Bible thumping you. How dare you show the Bible, Josh, on a financial channel? I love when people say stuff like that. I love it. It's awesome. So by all means, fire away. Look at these evil eyes. Oh, that cracks me up. All right. Well, let's see. I don't see my book on Wellington Fund. I'm a fan of Wellington Fund, Dave. So Wellington Fund's about 65% stocks, 35% bonds, generally speaking. I think that's a good default fund to look at for a 66-year-old retiree. Man, I got no clue how the wineries are in Georgia. I don't know. I don't drink. I'm a teetotaler. Teetotaler. May 25th, 1997, baby. It's coming up here shortly, and there'll be a video sharing with you all how my drinking days stopped. Just like that. Just like that. I'll share with you now. I was in Boston. Don't tell my wife. Actually, she knows. So she was going to Boston College. My friends and I went up to go see a band. What band did we go see? Blood for Blood up in Boston. Is Blood for Blood, Ducky Boys, and some other band. I had a good friend who lived in Nashua, New Hampshire. A guy I was in the Army with who since OD'd on heroin, sadly, which actually kills me. Anyway, so we went to go see Blood for Blood in Boston at the Rat, and we got there's a guy who is out from Miami, Florida, just got out of prison. A white guy. Let's just put it this way: if you're a white guy in a South Florida prison, you're running with a crowd that I don't want to run with, if that makes sense, because you have to do a defense. But he was with us. He was actually a nice guy. He did some bad stuff and was in prison. Anyway, let's just put it this way. He had tattoos on his head before. It was cool to have tattoos on your head. And some tattoos that were pretty offensive because he got him in prison. Anyway, so me, this guy, a couple of the guys, we went down to see Blood for Blood in Boston, and the locals didn't take kindly to us out-of-towners coming there and dancing and stuff. And so we got into it, and and we're driving around Boston. These guys are chasing us, because we, I think, I can't remember exactly what, I forgot what, like threw bottles at us. And they kind of chased us out of the bar. And I think I knocked somebody. I can't remember. We got into it a little bit, and I think I did this guy pretty good. And then, of course, like they're all clowns. They say, whoa, they got all their friends. And next thing you know, we're being chased and balls thrown at us. We got in my car. And long story short, I don't ever get too deep into it. And we're all drinking. I don't know how and it was bad. And I remember they pulled up next to us at a stoplight. And I remember they pulled up next to us. And I remember thinking this could be bad. You know what I'm saying? Because anyway, this could be bad. And thankfully there's a cop behind us. I was like, ooh, I'm going to get a DWI or I'm going to get shot by these guys. This is going to be bad. And somehow I went forward. These guys took a left, and the cop followed them, not me. And we got lost in Boston. It's for GPS, and we're running low and long story short, we finally got out of Boston. And it just, my broken glass, all of my vehicle and all this. It's just like, how the hell we get out? We got out. We were able to get gas and whatnot. So we made it back up to Nashua. We went to some bar up there and just drunk as skunks with the monks. And I woke up the next morning and I was just, hungover. I was miserable. And I was supposed to go see Charlotte. And I was like, oh, what have I done? And anyway, long story short, I just said, man, I sat there in the shower and I said, I can't do this anymore. And that was it. May 25th, 1997, the last I've ever done, last time I ever drank. And because it was, and Charles said, look, man, I'm not going to go with you if you're drinking anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so what I was going to do, I was going to go up to Boston or Nashua and see my man. We're going to go to the show. Then the next, I forgot what I was going to do. I was going to go see Charlotte and they were going to go to a show. But then we started drinking and I said, I'll see her tomorrow. I can't remember what the whole story was. I just remember I planned on seeing her, but I didn't. I went to go see the show with the fellas, and anyway, that could have been bad. It was bad, and I said I can't do this anymore, and that was easy for me. I said I'm stopping, just like when I quit smoking. I said I'm stopping, and I wasn't a drunk, and I never woke up needing a shot of Jack and Coke or whatever to start the day, and I just like beer. Freaking pints of Guinness and pints of Sierra Nevada. I could drink the hell out of, I never liked Bass Ale too much. People like these Black and Tans, that never did anything for me, but man, I could drink the hell out of some hops. Oh man. Some Sierra Nevada oatmeal stout. Some Sierra Nevada porter. Then I remember my last beer was a Pete's Strawberry Blonde. Oh man, I could drink the hell out of that Strawberry Blonde. And that was the last beer I ever had. Pete's Strawberry Blonde. I don't think Pete's I think it went out of business. It used to be Pete's Wicked Ale, Pete's Strawberry Blonde. So there you go. And so 25th May 1997. Clean as a whistle. All right. So Diane says she's found 3 more mushrooms. All right. In Indiana. Tried the milk before you bought, huh? Tried the milk. Huh. So Granger Production says, I would also be interested in your, okay, there you go. It pays a 1%. My only concern about all this is what happens to the principal. That's my concern about these covered call strategies. Yeah, man, lost to sea. Central Florida doesn't do anything for me. Not at all. Nah, I'm not a fan. But I do love the citrus trees. Oh, can you imagine, especially Eric's in Wisconsin, going outside and just getting a freaking orange tree? Oh, I mean, an orange off your tree. Oh, that's heavenly. All right, Vinyl says he's been running lows in the low 40s in Connecticut. Freaking pulverizer, dude. He's getting on my nerves. Not only does he like Pink Floyd, the worst band ever, he hates rockabilly. Oh, freaking pulverizer. Can't stand that guy. Yeah, it's that 1% dividend just sounds to me like there's some serious principal potential for decline. Do a video on nuclear energy. I don't know enough about it, but I do know that if you don't like carbon dioxide, you doggone better like nuclear. No, Josh, we'll get enough on solar photovoltaic and wind turbines. Yeah. Bob's not saying that, by the way. I just wish people would take some sense. You don't know that we can power the whole country with solar and wind and a little bit of hydro. Well, the Greens don't like hydro anymore. They hate nuclear for some ungodly reason. They're okay, I guess, with biomass, but even biomass, I mean, again, it's silly. The idea that cutting down virgin forest in North Carolina and burning it is renewable, dumb, but whatever. So the only thing you got is wind and solar, and we know for a fact wind. What do you get? 3 watts per square meter of wind, maybe 4. I mean, literally 4 watts per square meter. That's all you're getting. 4 watts. This is an LED light, a 15-watt LED light. Yeah, 15-watt LED light. So a wind turbine at 4 watts per square meter, that just shows you how much space it needs to run to generate any kind of electricity. And we're just talking electricity. We're not even talking about transportation or flying. We're just talking electricity. So then you got and so let's see, solar, 25% efficient panel. All right, so you're going to get about 50 watts per square meter with a solar 25% efficient panel. Yeah, just freaking use your brain, not Bob, but use your brain, people, to recognize, to use the world that we want to use. The idea of solar photovoltaic, which is converting the sun's energy into electricity, and wind turbines, which again is just turning a turbine and making the electrons just bounce off each other, boom, 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 boom. It's just straight absurdity, man. It's absurd. And yet people believe this as if it's like the spoken word of God himself. It's nuts. You can have a modern society, a growing modern society, nevertheless, not even just to meet the needs we have now on solar and wind. Now, I'm all about solar for local areas, i.e. your house. You want to get rooftop panels? Great. You always want ground. You should always have your panels on the ground if you have the space for it, for sure. But rooftop panels, all right, I'm fine with that. Let's watch a guy today. He's like, I'm off grid. He's not off grid. He's grid tied. He showed how his electric meter was going backwards. That's grid tied. You're not off grid. I would never get an RV when I retire. Would I consider renting? Yes, absolutely, Frank. Frank says, would I consider renting or getting an RV? No desire to get an RV, but renting, I would absolutely consider. Yes, sir. Yes, I consider. I'm a homebody, man. I love being home. I love my backyard. I just love my house, which is why I probably never will rent, because I like having a home operations. I don't have no desire to travel. I have none whatsoever. Maybe I'd like to go to Prince Edward Island one time, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Calgary, someplace in the United States for sure. But on that, I like the water. I like the ocean. Big fan, first time. But I like having a place of operations. For me, I was talking to a guy the other day. He's like, he's looking for places. He wanted to get some that had fruit trees. He said, I couldn't believe it. There's hardly any places no places that, and he was looking for property that had fruit trees, mature fruit trees. I said, I don't understand that. Having mature fruit trees is a huge win, man. It's weird to me. So, I guess I'm putting some fruit trees in there. I can see there some of my peaches are actually starting to come out. I was like, damn, these might be good. I can't wait. I'm stunned. But they're freaking looking good. I see some flowers on my apple trees. Did I can't remember, but certainly on my peach trees and my plum trees look pretty good too. Having mature fruit trees, that's a huge value add, but you can't really do that renting unless you rent a place that has that. What's the favorite video I ever did? Man, I've done so many, man. I don't know. I think I can't say it's my favorite, but one, there were a lot of people when this first came out, the stupid, Wuhan flu, that have since seen the light, and they took longer than they should have because no one knew. Like my man Dave Cullen from Computing Forever. Everyone should subscribe to his website, computingforever.com. The guy's awesome. But even he, Styx Hexhammer, even he, Glenn Reynolds from Instapundit, even all these guys who should have known better for about the first 2 to 4 weeks fell for the fraud. And I never did. And so I was saying back in February, get your butt outside, breathe the fresh air. It's nuts. And I will always say, I knew it. And I will always go down saying, I knew this is all corrupt as all can be. And I was doing videos on it, which I don't know if they're still out there. YouTube might have taken them down. I don't know. Saying this whole thing, the idea of exponential growth is freaking stupid. There's no exponential growth in this. It's freaking dumb. And also, I've been saying back then, everyone's like, there's a 5% death rate. I was sitting there thinking, this is freaking insane. You know why it's insane? Because there might be a 5% death rate on who they've tested, who have gone to the hospital because they're sick, and now they're saying, oh, they have coronavirus, 5% of those people died. But no one was getting tested back then. And I was like, why is no one? It was nuts to me. Nuts. And then we found out the PCR test is full of crap anyway, as even the guy who found out the PCR test would say that. And so I will go down knowing that I saw through this. I think me and Tony Heller, actually, we saw through this from point A. And a lot of people came on. They didn't. And I'm disappointed in them because that 2 to 3 week was all the big swamp needed. They just needed 2 to 3 weeks. And freaking Boris Johnson, what a clown. I can't stand that guy. Who's the guy? Jeremy Corbyn. I wish Jeremy would have won. Boris, this is the thing. You got these sellout conservatives. You can never vote for a green conservative. That's why the thing with Matt Gaetz or Getz or whatever his name is, the guy just banned Jonathan Blackman, thought I was a big fan of Matt Gaetz. See, I can't stand that guy because he's a green conservative. And you can't be green conservative because green is all fake. It's all fake. It's all virtue signaling for conservatives to say, no, I get it. It's cool. And Boris Johnson was a green conservative. And what happens always is they always fall for the propaganda. And so I see this guy happen, Matt Gaetz, whatever the hell his name is. I just don't care. I said, dude, you're a big green. You get what's coming to you, man. I don't care. I literally don't care. You'd never follow a green conservative because they're all fake. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because the whole green thing is fake. And if you're conservative, you're supposed to be smart enough to recognize to see through the fraud. And this is what pissed me off with Boris Johnson and all these freaking idiot governors. What the hell is Greg Abbott doing? In fact, I was talking to a guy the other day up in the Mittlatter thing. He says his county, he was in a county that only until like last week, they just mandated masks. They're all right wingers. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago or something like that, they mandated masks. I said, why is he doing it now? Anyway, so that's probably my favorite group of videos, Eric, is the ones I did where I was saying, don't fall as me. Oh, Clay Travis. Kudos to Clay Travis. For a while, I felt like it's just me and Clay Travis out there. And of course, I don't have the audience Clay Travis does, but just me and him. That was it. Clay Travis, to his credit, man, he was out there since day one, just like me. It was just like me and him. Everybody else was falling for it. It's the nature, and I recognize the whole conservative party is full of crap, man. I recognize that now. Oh, I did back then. I said all these people who presumably were smart enough to recognize, the tyrants that exist in the green energy stuff somehow. Oh my goodness, this is going to kill us all. I just reckon they're all fakers, all fakers. All it takes a little bit of fear mongering, and they capitulate. And I remember putting videos out there where cops were going to people's houses and saying, you can't have your children playing outside with non-families children. And conservatives were saying, well, we got to, stop the spread. And I said, you can all kiss my butt, man. There's no conservative that should allow for police to go there and issue citations to moms for allowing her daughter to play with another daughter. I think that happened in Wisconsin, or maybe it was Minnesota, Eric. And I remember supposed conservatives saying, well, we got to stop the spread. I said, yeah, okay. So the police state is fine if you're scared enough. No, screw that. And then the freaking Libertarian Party, kiss my big fat behind, thrown in with BLM, thrown in with vaccine passports. There's no place for a freedom lover in America, man. There's none. It ain't the Libertarian Party because they're all full of crap. It's not the Republican Party because they're all full of crap. Certainly not the Democratic Party. So where does a freedom lover go? You see what I'm saying? Crazy. It's freaking nuts, man. And so, I mean, where you go is at least the Republican Party has enough patriots in there to fight, to take out the idiots that run the show. But it's, we've been trying since the Tea Party. The Libertarian Party, the party apparatus itself is corrupt as day is long, but there are good people trying to take over the Mises Caucus, Dave Smith and whatnot. I'm going to be very keen on that because if Dave Smith and the boys and girls at the Mises Caucus can take over the Libertarian Party, I'll probably throw in with them. The Republican Party, Trump threw Brian Kemp under the bus, and that turned me against Trump right there. And in April or May, it's April, I think. Brian Kemp says we're not closing down, and Trump was completely diatribing against Brian Kemp. And that pissed me off. And Trump, like my man Anomaly from YouTube and Facebook says Trump's become the biggest vaccine seller since freaking, I don't know, Mr. Vaccine himself, whoever that is. Crazy. They can all kiss my butt. My man says, Jason says, hey, watch the pops. Jason, I don't care what they say. You're a good man and you're going places, brother. Just fight the good fight. The reason I'm laughing at you, Jason, because Brad says he hates rockabilly. Remember, Jason, I imagine Jason's probably gone night-night by now. Remember, Jason, being a boy is okay. It's okay to be a boy, all right? It's okay. In fact, we need more boys to become men. We have a lack of testosterone in this country. We need more fighters to say, yeah, I need to run around outside. You know what I'm saying? I need to throw a ball. I need to tackle somebody. It's okay. Being a boy is okay. I'm sure your dad's telling you that, but trust me, man. The last thing we need is freaking, you got to stop this war on men. That's all there is to it. It's big. All right. Speaking of grateful, I'm blessed to be chaperone this weekend for a 10-year-old lab. She'll be trained for a future wounded warrior. All right. Right on, man. Got a little puppy breath. All right. Yeah, right on. Look at Jason. Right on, man. All right. So Matt Martin. I lived in Portland for 20 years. I've been to Peaks, but Long Island has a nicer beach. Hey, right on. Yeah. Well, last time I was up in Peaks Island, I was looking for Sandy Beach. We had gotten off this beach. It was all rocks. I said, I thought this used to be Sandy Beach. I said, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just from my memory. So we're walking up, going back to our place we're staying. I asked these kids, "Says, hey man, where's Sandy Beach? I thought it was right here." He goes, "Yeah, it was that." I said, "There's no sand on there." He goes, "Yeah, never has been." I said, "Dude, there used to be Sandy Beach." Anyway, what type of portfolio do I recommend for a recent retiree when the U.S. goes full commie? Yeah, that's not happening, man. How many years until the U.S. dollar collapses as the world reserve currency? Jeez Louise, man. U.S. is going fully commie, and the dollar is going to collapse. All right, so I'll ask you always, what is the alternative? Yeah, so please, so as everyone says the dollar is going to collapse, answer me this. What is the alternative? There has to be an alternative. I mean, this is what drives me insane. For the U.S. dollar to collapse means there has to be something that takes it over. What? The euro? The Chinese yuan, Bitcoin, what is it going to be? I mean, until we can define something that'll take over, I don't think the U.S. dollar is collapsing. Renters pay property tax in their rent, absolutely. Someone say renters don't pay property tax? Hell, they don't. Oh my goodness! So we got all kinds of. What year will Social Security be totally bankrupt? Well, in 2034. They'll have enough reserves to pay 70 cents on the dollar, 77 cents on the dollar. As we say here today, under the intermediate assumptions, all right? Is that fully bankrupt? No. In 2090 75 years from the last trustees report, 2094, I guess. It'll pay 70 cents on the dollar without any changes under the intermediate assumptions. So there's good, bad, and intermediate. Under the intermediate assumptions, it'll pay 70 cents on the dollar from 2034 to 2092. Maybe it was 92. It's not fully bankrupt, so stop. First time hearing Marty Robbins' El Paso's life changing. All right, I have to play that on my phone because I like Marty Robbins, but I won't be able to play it for y'all because I would get bamboozled. Marty Robbins. Oops. Oh man, what happened? I think I know that song. Here in El Paso, down into something.
Out in the West Texas.
Webs of El Paso, I saw somebody's Mexican girl. Oh man. Merle Haggard has a song like that too, where he, oh my goodness. What's it called? I can't remember. Off one of his albums, he talks about a brown-skinned Mexican girl. Like, oh man. Whew, man, I tell you, I know some of you guys like the whiteys. I do too. My wife is, but man, is there something about the long black hair, those Mexican, Latin American ladies? Woo, Nelly, those are smoking hot women. When I worked at USAA, because in San Antonio, oh my goodness, I mean, there's just freaking so many hot chicks. It's nuts because there's just a lot of Mexicans down, Mexican Americans. Oh, good night. Oh, fantastic. But it's funny because maybe one of the reasons I love my old wife is because when she gets tan, I can't tell you how many times people started coming up to her speaking Spanish because she thinks she looks like she's Mexican. It's funny. Not so much anymore. She's pale, but it's funny because all her brothers and sisters are all Irish with like blue eyes and stuff like that. And then Charlotte's got these big brown eyes and darker skin. Oh man, Texican music. Now there's a Mexican version of there's a Mexican. It's not. Los Lobos plays this type of Mexican music. It's not Texican. It's not what you normally think at the restaurants. It's another type of like Mexican Norte Americano. Oh man, it's like some of my favorite music out there. What was that? I haven't remembered that for a couple of years, but man, it's my favorite. There's a lot of crappy Mexican music, like a lot of crappy country music, lots of crappy music out there. But there's one kind of version of Mexican music that's, man, I'm drawing a blank. This band. Man. Los Super 7. Los Super 7. Is that it? Los Super 7? Hold on a second. Los Super 7. Yeah, I think it's Los Super 7. Oh, dude, they got one with Trevino. Forgot his first name. Trevino. Los Super 7. Someone Trevino. Hold on a second. Rick Trevino. Yeah, Los Super 7 with Rick Trevino. Oh my, yeah, Mirachito. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Oh man, living in San Antonio is fantastic. All right. White says Chuck B, who is also a rapper. Well, I guess that's Chuck D, right? It says White says ain't no swar in Texas. As Texican music can pass for polka. All right, right on. Yeah, I got no problem with Berkshire Hathaway, none whatsoever. I mean, I got literally no problem with it at all. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. The lead guitars are hot, but not some for Louisiana man. So rising up your bow, and if you're gonna play in Texas, remember, leaving Louisiana in the broad day night. Who's that right there? Leaving Louisiana. All right. Wow, we're way behind on these things here. How much money do you make each day? Depends on the money you buy or sell. I just joined in. How much money do you make each day? Depends on the money you buy or sell. I don't know what that means. My bush from Pike's Nursery is looking pretty good. Vincenzo, yes, sir. Many more insects than people, 100%. We're outnumbered. Oh, cicadas coming to Maryland. I remember when I was there, cicadas. Woo-wee. I thought they only come every 7 years or something like that. Nobody's not going to come grab my firearms, and the ATF isn't either. Do I see where Florida passed anti-riot legislation allowing folks to drive through riders amid BLM? Oh, anytime snowflakes are triggered, I love it. The U.S. dollar will go crypto in 5 years. Yeah, I don't know about that, but maybe. I do think that one of this whole pandemic stuff is to get us off the actual currency itself, which is part of the big scheme for sure. And they always put, oh, we're just going to stop the drug dealers. Stop the drug dealers. That's where we can get off the people with the actual dollars. It's all such a scam. Everything they say, we're just going after drug lords when they're actually going after you, which is why the whole thing is, it'd be great to legalize drugs, not just marijuana, everything. It'd be amazing how much crime would just drop. Amazing how much crime would just drop. Will there be some more people becoming addicted? Yes, there will be. That's I guarantee there will. I can't guarantee. I imagine there will be more people who become addicted. Yep. But there'll be a hell of a lot more lives saved than the people get addicted because of drug war. It will just magically stop like that. You put the cartels out of business immediately. I always say, if you're going to win the drug war, you got to go after the demand, not the supply. As long as the demand is there and the profits to be made for the supply will meet the demand. Just basic trade, man. Until you go after the demand, which is the middle class, essentially white people, there's the Hunter Bidens of the world. Half those guys in D.C. are freaking snorting coke. You know that. Until you go after the demand, you're never going to have a win on the war on drugs. And after since freaking, who started? Freaking stupid Nixon, right? Nixon. I think we can say it was lost. We've lost the war on drugs. Let's just say, all right, let's try something different. But that's crazy. We're all going to be smoking dope. I don't smoke dope. And now we can smoke dope if you want. I don't. You won't. I don't smoke crack cocaine. I don't do heroin. I don't do cocaine. You're not going to either. Well, a few more people. Yes, that sucks. That's collateral damage, which sucks. It's a choice they made, though, by the way. But right now we have kids being murdered in the street. We got cartels freaking just destroying people all over the North America. And, of course, lots of people are overdosing because they have no idea they're taking fentanyl as opposed to just regular heroin. Such a freaking scam. The war on drugs is such a freaking scam. It's almost worse than wind turbines. Actually, probably is worse. And my two things, the abortion, I hate it. It's a freaking, it's disgusting, 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 disgusting. The war on drugs, I hate it. It's disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. And wind turbines, I hate it. It's disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. Now, there you go. There's my big three hates. And I hate them all. I hate war on drugs. I hate abortion. I hate wind turbines. Let's see. What else do I hate? Yeah, don't really follow sports anymore. I'd say the Yankees, the Canadians, the New York Giants, but I just don't care. I hate a lot of things. Those three: communism. I hate communism. That should be obvious. Socialism. Hate socialism. That should be obvious. Fear mongering. But my big three are abortion, war on drugs, and what we just talked about, wind turbines. Tillerson, that was it, right on. Yeah, Henry Kissinger kissed my big fat behind too. Farming looks mighty easy when your plow is a pencil and you're 1,000 miles away from the cornfield. Yeah. LDS don't drink tea either. Ooh. My man Chris says he grew up in Pittsburgh, watched steel industry collapse, lived in West Virginia, watched coal and chemicals collapse. I'm bad luck. Don't come down here, Chris. Yeah. Quincy says he's in Pittsburgh too. Worcester. So Jen G says I can invest in Fidelity. I don't know what that is. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know either of these. It looks like that's gonna be Fidelity Growth Fund, and I don't know what VIIIX is. I presume that's the Vanguard. So I always default to Vanguard. All right. Yeah, that's 100%. CIA needs the money. I tell you, man. The CIA is up to no good. It's funny because I don't know if y'all are familiar with Frank Church, the Church Commission. Big lib out of Idaho, of all places. It's funny how far the Democrats have turned against what they used to be. He was back against the CIA back then in the late 70s. And it's just funny how the shift has happened. If you're a Republican right now and you're like, yes, the FBI, the CIA, they're out to save us. You're a freaking idiot, man. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. These guys are not out to protect you. They're not. They're out to get you. That's a fact. That's a fact. So if you're a Republican and you think the freaking, it's funny. It doesn't matter. There's so many just older Republicans, conservatives, who think the government can do no wrong. And I don't get where it comes from. And I'm just sitting there thinking it's nuts to me. Well, if you got nothing to, why would you worry about false accusations if you got nothing to be, if you're not doing anything wrong? If you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't be worried about being accused of anything or being arrested. I hear that. And I literally want to put my head in a vice and drop an anvil on my head. Well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what do you got to worry about? Because none of your damn business. None of your damn business. No one should freaking stop and do anything if you're not doing anything wrong. It has nothing to do with you. I hear, or if you got to falsely accuse, if you weren't doing anything wrong, you'll be set free. You freaking idiots. Do you not know the criminal justice system? Jeez, man. I mean, never mind Mike Flynn. How many little small potato guys are out there? Chaparro is out. I'm in the park with my kids. I'm here. All right. Well, that's good. Thanks for the huge tip on Bitcoin. Went all in. Let's make some money. What do I think about 50-50 portfolio? Yeah, I got no problem with that, man. I got no problem with it at all. None whatsoever. I mean, are you going to leave Louisiana in the broad daylight? Yep, right there. 2 keys. Are you going to make a killing? No. Are you going to get killed? No. None. I think it'd be just fine. Yeah, I got $5 super chat. So I just wonder if the empire is an inevitable eventual decline. There's no way out. Yeah, I mean, of course it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what do they say? Someone had said many years ago, shirt sleeve to shirt sleeves in 3 generations, and I agree with that. Now, 3 generations, maybe 3 centuries, but shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 centuries for the United States. We're just too fat, too lazy. No other way around that. I mean, just too fat, too lazy. Does that mean it's going to happen tomorrow? No, but no empire lasts forever. And we're an empire, and we've engaged in some bad stuff. I love America. The concept. I don't love the government, but that does not mean anti-American. Just the government is full of crap, man. The government is there to enrich the people who play in the government. That's all there is to it. The Republicans and Democrats. That's just a fact. So it will collapse. No, I mean, it's inevitable. But that's the funny thing. If you just pick up the good book, that should not shock anybody. I mean, geez Louise. It's all in here. It's all in this thing right here. This New International Version. Some people don't like that. They like the King James. Whatever. I like the New International Version. I also have a bunch of different Bibles back there, but Amplified Bible and all that. Yeah, you got to be careful with some of these way they translate some of that stuff because it's a little bit liberal to me. And but New International Version is pretty good. I'm a fan of it. But anyway, it's all in here, man. The idea that any empire is going to survive, it's not going to happen. Just not. Will it happen tomorrow? We don't know. We don't know. I mean, we know. Jesus says you don't know, but when it's going to come? Desperado. Okay. I've never seen that movie, Desperado. How about Herb Alpert and the T1 Brass? Never heard of him, Bruce. So Jim says, I'm 57, want to retire at 62. Yeah, that's 100% right way to do it, Jim. He's going to open a Roth and dump all his extra savings into it each year. Absolutely. I know you're in South Georgia, James. All right, cool. Hazelhurst, Georgia. Never heard of it. And it's not mariachi. It's not mariachi. It's a different type of Mexican music, not mariachi. Eric says, hit the like button before if you sign off, or else he's going to come to your house. Robert Scott's got to go because Bill Maher's on. Oh, I fell in love with a Mexican girl. Oh, how about Mexican Blackbird ZZ Top? Never heard that song. I probably have. I'm a big ZZ Top fan. Kind of, sort of. They did some good songs and a lot of bad songs. Check out Cape Breton. Yep. While you're in Nova Scotia, Highland Games are. Oh, we got Highland Games down here in South Carolina. Furman University, right outside of Greenville, South Highland Games. Freaking awesome, man. I love it. But Halifax has more Irish speakers, Gaelic speakers, than any other place in the world, either except for Ireland or even considering Ireland. Can you imagine that? Yeah, it's Halifax, Nova Scotia. More Gaelic speakers than any other place in the world, I'm going to say, except for Ireland itself. I'm not sure if Scotland's included in that. Anyway, there's a lot of Gaelic speakers in Halifax, if that makes sense. When I was growing up in Maine, at Peaks Island, the American Hockey League, we had the Nova Scotia Voyageurs, the Cape Breton Maple Leafs, the Moncton. So we had teams in Moncton, Cape Breton, St. John's, Halifax, Nova Scotia Voyageurs. There's another town I'm thinking about, Frederick something. I can't remember, but man, I used to hate the Nova Scotia Voyageurs. They were our biggest challenge for the Maine Mariners. Anyway, so I got to know a lot of these towns up there in the northeast section of Canada, just from the American Hockey League. Yeah, exactly. Then we're gonna add a bunch of EV cars too. So so going back to what my man said about, is there going to be a collapse? Well, California, first and foremost. Let me think about the idiocy of these people. They're mandating EVs. Right? On top of that, they're forcing supply out. So if you cannot supply California with dirty electricity by, I think, 2025. So they're going to mandate electric vehicles, which are going to be a big addition to the grid of demand. And their supply, they're going to reduce by dirty supply, be it coal, natural gas, and of course, there's no nuclear. And they're also getting rid of hydro. This is just, it's insane. California, you can't, this is not going to work, man. You are not going to have electricity. You're not. Oh, but we have solar. We have photovoltaic on our rooftops. Not that many of y'all do. You just don't. It's not going to work. You're going to have blackouts as far as the eye can see. But you know what they do is they import their fuel from dirty, provided from Arizona and Nevada and probably even Oregon. Yeah, the whole thing is insane. So it's just sitting there thinking, you're mandating these unicorns and freaking cotton candy. And you're sitting there thinking, California is our biggest economy in the United States. As much as we all love to hate California, facts are, if California economy goes kaput, which is inevitable, what happens to the rest of the country? I don't know. It's going to be creepy. But by then, we'll all be speaking Mandarin anyway. Rosita's Cafe. All right. Just found when 65, county will pay up to $5,000 your property tax, but when you sell, you pay it back plus 3%. Sounds like maybe, ooh, yeah, that's that defer stuff. I'm not a big fan of that. So Jesse says he feels like she's half hour behind. So Jesse's called me, she's not using my proper pronouns. So I'm very offended, Jesse. When I was a boy, I played football without a helmet and I had fun. I got another super chat. All right. Hey, been watching the super chats. The least I can do. Thought of doing the same career, but was stuck to a captive company. Bad enough figuring out my own retirement. Never mind word of others. Still wondering. The water's warm, brother. The water's warm. Lots of people need good financial advice and paying a fair fee without feeling they're getting rooked by assets under management, and or if you want to charge commission, as long as you're upfront with it. But appreciate it, man. That's the water's warm. And the funny thing is, man, once you leave and you go on YouTube, you can, you can't say whatever you want because YouTube will ban you. Obviously you can't make promises like, oh, you should buy. I don't make stock recommendations. It bores me, frankly. But you can do a lot more good work for people here than you could ever do as a financial advisor. Like I used to be one. I know I used to be one. Used to do tons of seminars, man. I get more people here on a video. I get probably about 25,000 people or 25,000 views a day on this one channel. It's nuts. From old Josh. Old Josh hasn't shaved. You know what I'm saying? Freaking, I didn't even shower this morning, by the way. I should have worn my hat. And just sit in my basement. Well, not my basement anymore, but with my dogs. And you can reach more people this way. And you make money. Nuts. I appreciate it. Yep. Well, I think we got DeSantis. He's my man. He's my man. Deb. All right. Boys need to know it's okay to have feelings that show strength. 100%, Deb. Absolutely. 100%. I love gardening, yet I'm not green. Well, I'm green. 100% green. We never had a mask mandate here, Javier. Georgia never had a mask mandate. So Florida might be the first state to end it. We never had it. And Chrissy Nome, to her benefit, she never had one either. But she did not want to take on the NCAA. For some reason, the NCAA, I don't understand it. It's the weirdest thing. Thankfully, maybe Georgia again with Brian Kemp will show people how it works. We stick it to Major League Baseball. We stick it to Coca-Cola. Both those groups are hurting because they're stupid woke stuff, which is awesome because Georgia says we're not capitulating. All it takes is a little bit to fight back, just a little bit of courage. And Brian Kemp, all you who said Brian Kemp is in the pocket of the communists, that friggin' ticked me off, man. Look, maybe Puffy the Magic Dragon, our Secretary of State. I don't think he's in the commies. I just think he's too scared. He got rolled by Stacey Abrams. He did against all. The last thing that guy wanted to be is called a racist. I'm like, dude, you could be a black guy. Say we need voter IDs, they're going to call you racist. You could be freaking the most woke guy in the history of mankind. They're going to call you racist. If you're a white guy in the Republican Party, they're going to call you racist just for breathing. It's just that simple. The idea that the Republican who's been around the block hasn't realized this and he's still worried about being called racist, dude. This is so 1980 stuff, and the fact that you're still scared of it just. Ugh. But Brian Kemp, he's 2 out of 3. So I wish he would have been stronger on the vote thing. At the end of the day, though, he didn't. But he's great on the mask, and he's great on the bill to freaking sign the voting ID. He says, screw you guys. Love it. And Major League Baseball is they're getting pounded. They're getting pounded. And Coca-Cola's like, we're backtracking a little bit because they know they're idiots, man. I will never fly United. I really don't want to fly again. But if I can avoid United, I would, because I don't like that affirmative action hires for other captaincies that they're doing in 2025. Delta's no better. But I really don't intend on flying other than emergencies. Yep, Trump bought into it 100%. 100%. Yeah, I'd tell half-wit she can kiss my big fat behind. Did you hear how she said it's none of her business what her staff does on vacation when they went to Florida after telling people don't come to Florida? Well, if you look at the satellite numbers, global warming isn't as bad as what people make it seem. The satellite data from University of Alabama, Huntsville, it doesn't show. It's just not. It's a big fat nothing burger. We know there's another satellite group, and they literally they finagled their numbers to show global warming, whereas before they did not show global warming. And so, thankfully, Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com took screenshots of their old numbers, and then he said, "Oh, it's weird how it changes." Yeah, of course, that would be a big news if we had a fair media. We don't. YouTube bans them, but at the end of the day, Tony Heller from Real Client Science showed. He said, "I remember in 2015, he said, I forgot what the data set was. It's not UAH, University of Alabama Huntsville is another one." He said they're gonna change their numbers, and they did. They did. He was right in 2015. He just did a video on this the other day. Satellite data doesn't show that. The temperature thermometers that we have on the streets, at the end of the day, it doesn't surprise you when they put them next to air conditioning outtakes, or they put them in the heat on freaking asphalt. The whole thing is just such a fraud, man. Now, I'm not arguing there's more CO2 in the atmosphere. There's 400 parts per million. We know that for a fact. I'm not even arguing that the globe might be warming some. Not in the least. Frankly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Actually, if anything, I'm advocating for global warming. Why do you think the medieval warm period was such a boon for human beings, for humanity? The medieval warm period. Now, remember, this is global warming before we had parts per million CO2. Because there certainly wasn't internal combustion engines back then, but we still had a medieval warm period. It was a boon for human beings. They were freaking farming in Greenland, for heaven's sake. As a boon because it was warm. Warm temperatures are wonderful for human beings. That's all there is to it. So if we are having a little bit of global warming because of CO2, and we know for a fact we have a greening Earth because of CO2 is a fertilizer, I'm all for it, baby. And give me that global warming. The global cooling is what you should be afraid of. Can't grow in the snow. Can't grow in the snow. Can't grow in the snow. All right. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I've heard people say that when they go to Florida. My brother's down there in Disneyland, and he said people were wearing, and maybe it's just Disney, but I know in Disneyland they're masked up. He said that, actually, I didn't really ask him. Hopefully that was the case. No mask anywhere. That'd be good. All right. Yeah, well, Greg Abbott, I don't know what the hell he was doing, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's just weird. Yeah, dude, Canada's freaking nuts. I saw that too. Viva Frei, you see that guy, Viva Frei, watching a video from Canada about them shutting down again. They're giving cops the right to stop anyone to find out if they're outside homes without that. It's just freaking insane. All right. Hey, and so Vinyl said he didn't get any side effects with the first one. I mean, look, man, get it. But he also says he's good now because he got a second shot today, so he's good now. I don't care if you get it. The idea that you were bad before and you're good now is just silly to me, but whatever. All right. Yeah, man, I'm going to do a road trip across the U.S. Right on. I have an orange and lemon lime tree in Florida. Yeah, that's fantastic. Check out Lars Von Retriever for Metal Trump Music. Oh, man. My pension paid out 3.5%. Rolled that IRA money market, funding my cash bucket. Right on, Dan. All right. So we're going to come down here just to keep Jesse happy because he's like, you're way far behind. Yeah, exactly. That's what I heard, too. I heard Ford had masks everywhere, even though they weren't mandated. That's what I heard, too. So Sununu can kiss my behind. Why is New Hampshire? Kim says she has seen patients get sick after the second shot, too. Absolutely. Absolutely. No one knows anything about this. I think most parents sadly rely on the education system to teach their kids. And hopefully most parents will realize how insane that was, seeing what we're seeing with the teachers' unions now. These people are just corrupt as the day is long, and they're evil. Not all the members, but the leadership of these teachers' unions is bad news. And they control the Democratic Party. Bad people, bad news. They're not looking for your children. They're looking for the quickest way to get rich off the taxpayer. That's just all there is to it. And if you're part of the teachers union, I emphasize with you, I do. You're still part of a corrupt organization. No other way around that. And so a lot of people say, well, the teacher, I hear all the time, they need to teach this in schools. I hear that all the time. I said, no, they don't. Last thing we want is some woke freaking, sixth grade teacher who's has a Biden-Harris thing in their back pocket, telling your kids about critical race theory to try to teach your kids how to balance a checkbook. No way, man. Yeah, I stream from my Josh Scanlon YouTube channel as well as Heritage Wealth Planning, so I can get that sweet, sweet money on both. Seniors, I took a portion of child support, started her financial investment. She's 18, car paid off, thousands in the bank is minimalist. I think I'm thinking good things on this, that the minimalist movement on the youngsters is coming. I do think that I'm pretty optimistic on these youngins. I am. I'm pretty optimistic, man. Dennis said he had fever, body aches, but no vomiting, thankfully. Yeah. I mean, vaccine, look, just because you had fever, body aches doesn't mean it's bad. Just because you had fever, body aches with COVID doesn't mean it's bad either. That's what cracks me up. And, I listen to Brett Weinstein and Heather Heying, and they're like, the long-term effects of COVID are unknown. I'm like, well, and how about the long-term effects of the vaccines? No one knows nothing. No one knows. I mean, can we just admit we don't know anything? Why do we always have to say we know it all? We don't know nothing. But if you want to get a vaccine to protect yourself because you think it's going to work, do what you got to do. I don't care. But let's not pretend that COVID in of itself, the long-term effects are devastating. We don't know that. And at the same time, let's not pretend that there's no long-term effects of the vaccine. We don't know that either. It's okay not to know. So I say, well, you're going to weigh the risk versus reward. And if the reward is solely so you can go around in polite society with your vaccine card, I find that frightening. That should not be why you get the stupid jab. That's evil. That's evil. Yeah. Trump had to go, so they all, 100%. The Republicans didn't like him. The Democrats didn't like him. With that said, Trump did not make a lot of friends. And I don't mean friends on Mitch McConnell stuff. The way he did Brian Kemp was just wrong, man. There's just no other way around that. Brian Kemp was an ally, and he just threw him under the bus. Trump for Trump. I hope he does not run in 2024. I'm telling you that right now. People get really, really mad when I say that, but Trump's not the guy. He's just not. I think he did good for 3 of the 4 years. The 4th year, he got smoked. And don't forget, Trump was a germaphobe, all right? So they knew how to make Trump anxious, which is the germs are going to get you, Trumpster. And he fell for it. Hook, on, sinker. This guy says he worked with Governor Kemp. He's great. Right on, man. I'm glad you're here. I got no problem with robo investors, none whatsoever. All right, so I think we're gonna get out of here tonight, my friends. My man Zabutify from, I think he's in Tennessee. He would not have known he had COVID if he didn't lose his smell. Right on. Fauci knows it all. King Fauci, bless him, bless him. Yeah, my employer encouraged us. That's the USAA did the same thing. I think I read you this tweet. If I haven't on the live stream, I'm going to read it to you right now. This freaking will infuriate you. USAA can kiss my behind. So this is my man who works at USAA, who will obviously go nameless. And on Easter, this is what USAA sent to him on Easter. Hello, San Antonio teammates. WellMed has shared that USAA has responded very well to next week's COVID vaccine opportunity as essential workers. Thank you. Unfortunately, the Pfizer vaccine is now not available. As a reminder, Dr. Wald, who turns out to be USA's chief medical officer, has recommended we should get and be thankful for whatever COVID vaccine we can. Please ensure we embrace our USA standard and core values as we are offered these opportunities. We will share additional vaccine information on Monday. This is the Easter message on USA on Easter. I love how they say we should get and be thankful for whatever COVID vaccine we can. These guys are freaking scum of the earth. Can you imagine? Oh, yeah. Hold on a sec. Can you imagine the freaking clown show that wrote, we should get and be thankful for? That's straight up from 1984, man. 1984 propaganda. All right. I'm being called in by my wife, man. Does have a chance after the 60-minute. Javier, do you really think that? Come on, man. Come on, man. As Sniffy Joe says, you really think that 60 Minutes interview was legit? Come on, dude. Pull your head out. Oh, my goodness. Everyone knows that's a freaking fake S show. We all know that. You got to figure this out, brother. We need you on the freaking, we need you. Not following the media diatribes. Oh, thank you. God, Javier says he's joking. Oh, man. I was about to lose. I said, you can't think that's true. All right. Now, the question is, thankfully, Javier is smart. How many Americans are smart? Not that many. Relative to how many are paying attention, but at least, oh, thank you. I was like, dude, please tell me, Javier, he can't be that guy, that media guy. Oh. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. We'll see y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Mucho gracias. Don't forget, all the answers can be found here. Don't worry, because we know how it ends. Get on your knees. Thank Jesus Christ for coming back from the dead and ask for forgiveness. And all is well in the land of the good Lord. All right, see you guys.